Hi everyone, Anshita this side. Welcome back to day 6 of our QA Bootcamp series. So far, we have covered some critical topics like JIRA workflow, shift left testing, early automation strategies. And today, we'll be deep diving into an essential concept, which is bug life cycle. So, bug life cycle represents the different stages a bug goes through, right from the moment it is reported to the moment it gets fixed, verified, and closed. So, these stages can vary depending on the organization or on your project, but the core idea that remains same, which is tracking your bug's performance throughout the life cycle. So, in order to understand better, I have this sample flowchart for you, which I'll walk you through now. So, starting from here, so whenever a new defect is identified by tester, it falls under the status new or to do. Like I mentioned, the workflow can be configured in a different way depending on your organization. So the status can be new or the status can be to do. So in this state, what happens? The QA will raise a bug and QA provides all the details in the bug, like what is the expected functionality, what is the actual functionality. After this state, the developer will pick up the bug, which is under the status new or to do, and then the status will be changed to assigned or in development. Either of the status is fine. So in this state, the developer will start analyzing your bug. If the bug is not valid, the status will be rejected. In case the bug is not in the scope of that sprint, for example, it is a low priority bug and it's not urgent, then the dev will change the status to deferred. Then comes this state in which the developer will see if the bug is already raised. In case if it is already raised, the status of the bug will be marked as duplicate. If it does not fall under these three conditions, that means your bug is valid and developer will start fixing the bug. Once the bug is fixed, it will go to the state which is fixed or resolved, and then the QA will retest the functionality. So the status would be either retesting or in QA, either of the status is fine. If the bug is fixed, it will be changed to the status verified and then it will be changed to closed. In case if the bug is not fixed, the QA will change the status to reopen and then again it will go through this life cycle. So reopen means, so here the developer will pick up the bug and it will go to the status assigned and again it will go through this life cycle. So this is the bug life cycle. Now you might be wondering why we can't just directly message developer and tell them about the issue. Why is it important to raise the bug? Because by logging the bugs, you can assess the health of your application. For example, you have raised 10 bugs for a very small functionality. So instead of further moving ahead with the testing, you can just directly reject the build. So that will indicate the instability of the build and you can stop the testing over there. So this is one of the importance of raising bugs. Another advantage is better communication. So if you raise a bug, it will help your team also to track and to see how many bugs are raised and who is working on which bug, what is the state of the bug. So as you know, the theme of this bootcamp series is to provide you real-time insights, how the QA works in any organization. So for that, I will show you how to raise a bug in JIRA. So you can use any tool for raising the bug. As part of the series, we have been using JIRA because it's one of the most powerful and widely used tools for project management and for the bug tracking. So I'll be using JIRA as part of the series, but you can use any tool for the bug tracking. Now it's demo time. Let's go to JIRA and see how to raise a bug. So in order to raise a bug, what you have to do, you have to click on this create button. And over here, you have to choose the type, issue type, which is bug. If you're working with JIRA, there will be some issue types over here like epic, story, task. Now comes the summary part. So in the summary part, you have to provide a short summary. So this is the title of your bug. Now, as part of the series, we have been looking at the OpenCard website for the registration page. For example, this one. So this is the registration page. Let's assume if the registration page is not working, you are unable to register your account on the page. So how we can raise a bug for that? For that, what you can do, you can just mention the title. Let's say you can mention unable to register an account on registration page. And over here, you can provide the severity. Severity can be high, medium, low. So severity means how critical the bug is. For example, over here, if you're raising the bug for the registered account, so this is a very important functionality. So it will be a high severity bug. Let me know in case if you want me to create a video on severity and priority, I will create a dedicated video on that. Now comes our description part. So in the description part, what you can do, you can pass steps to reproduce and you can pass the detailed steps so that developer can directly check the steps and analyze the bug. For the sample, I have written over here, I've added steps to reproduce. So like I mentioned, navigate to the OpenCart homepage, click on the register button, fill in all the required fields, agree to the terms and condition, and click on the submit button. And after this, I have mentioned what is the expected result. So the expected result is after submitting your form, the user should receive confirmation message on the page and the account should be created successfully. But the actual result is no confirmation message on the page. By providing a detailed info into a bug, the developers will also understand it better and it will help them in fixing the bug quite easily and early. And what you can do, you can also attach screenshots over here. For example, let's assume this is an error page where we are getting the error and we are taking the screenshot of this page. After taking the screenshot, what you can do, you can also attach the screenshot over here. So attaching screenshots or attaching video is always a good idea and it will always be helpful for developer to understand it better. Now you can assign it over here to a developer. So in some organizations, you can assign to the developer directly. In some, you can assign it to your dev manager so that in the defect triage meeting, you go through all the defects and then based on the bandwidth, it will be assigned to a specific developer. So this is how it works in organizations. Sometimes there is only one front-end engineer who has developed this application. You will directly assign to him. But in case if there are multiple developers who are working on that functionality, so in that case, it can also be assigned to dev manager and then the dev manager will further analyze the bandwidth and he or she will assign it to the developer. For example, Anchita is our developer. Now comes the label. You can also add label over here. It is not a mandatory thing, but it is a good to have feature over it. For example, this is our OpenCart website. This is our e-commerce website. And in this, we have a registration page, we have login page, we have checkout page, product detail page, PLP page. So if you add a label over here, later on, you can filter how many bugs were raised for register account page. So it's always a good idea to add a proper label over here. It will be helpful for you in filtering out the bugs later on. So I will add over here register account. You can pass any meaningful label over here. Then comes the sprint. So what you can do, you can assign it to the active sprint, or in case if you have assigned it to your dev manager, you can keep this field empty also. Analyze if it needs to be fixed in the current sprint or in the future sprint. So again, it depends on your project, in your organization, how you follow that. But in case if you want to pass a sprint, you can pass a sprint from here. And you can also link your issue with a story. For example, if you're testing the story and bug is related to the story, what you can do, you can add the link of that story over here. For example, like this. And then you can click on create. So this way your bug will be created. And if you have added a sprint, it will be visible on the sprint board over here. If you click on this, you can see the title over here, the severity over here, the description which we have passed, and the screenshot which we have attached. And it is also linked with the story. And from here, you can see who is the assignee, what is the label, what is the sprint, and who is the reporter. And if you go to the story, if I click on the story, in the story also, you will see a bug is linked with the story. So this will bring a better visibility to your whole team. By just looking at the story, they can see how many bugs are raised for that story. It is one of the approach which is followed in many of the organizations today. And now I will also show you the label functionality. For example, if you go to filters, click on the view all issues, what you can do, you can choose your project over here. For example, your project is OpenCart. And if you want to select the bug which has that particular label, which is basically register account, what we can do, we can search for label over here, select the label and label register account. Now you see there is only one bug raised with this label. This way you can actually filter the bugs also. And if you want to export this and provide the list to your team, you can choose any of the option. If you want all the fields, if you want only default fields, you can choose over here. For example, if you click on export CSV, it will be exported. So it will look something like this. And over here, you can see this is the summary. This is the issue key. So this is the CSV which we have downloaded And this contains all the information like the summary, the issue key, what is the issue ID, what is the issue type, the status, project key. If you want to configure it only some specific fields, like explained over here, you can also download it for some specific fields only or for all the fields. So it is also very useful if you want to share it with your team, with your manager, or with your dev team. You can share it like this. Or you can also share this filter with them and you can save this filter. For example, over here, you can save it as register account bugs. And over here, you can add all the details like who is a viewer, who is the editor. And providing all this, what you can do, you can also share this filter with others and others can also see this. If you don't want to share CSV, you can share the filter. And these are some of the benefits of using JIRA because it's a very useful tool and all these things can be done easily over here. For example, from here, you can just copy the link of the filter. And if you go to other tab, just open this link and then you can see all the bugs which has this label register account and which are raised within that 30 days. So you might know what is the workflow of bug life cycle, but if you also know all this information like how to filter, how to add labels and how to raise it actually in a tool like Jira, it will be very helpful for you because this is how they use it in any organization. And this is also one of the famous interview questions, especially if you are a fresher, it will be asked and they want to understand and check if you really know about the different stages, different states your bug goes through. So yeah, that's all for today's video. We explored the bug life cycle. We saw how we can raise a bug in Jira, how we can assign it to developers, what are the important information which we can pass in a bug. And for the better traceability, we can also see if you assign it to a story, you can see how many bugs are raised and it is assigned to whom and what is the status of the bug. So this is about the real-time insight which I wanted to give you through my ongoing bootcamp series. I hope it will be helpful for you for any interview or if you're working in a project in any organization. And if you really like the content, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel and share it with your friends, share it with a friend. And thank you for watching.